Twitch stream, like don't nicely.
That's fine.
If it looks terrible, we can have you just watch the Twitch stream, or like I don't know, I'll figure something out.
Yeah, it's fine. I can see.
Just keep me posted. Like I'm talking about something you basically can't see what's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're SomeMango, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Before we get started, anything you want me to know? Anything like you feel like are your issues or stuff like that? Things you feel like you're strong at, blah blah blah. Anything just anything.
So I play on Switch,
Mhm.
and this is a plat match.
Okay.
Around like 2,700 uh SR.
Okay.
That should be it.
All right. Is there any moments in this game that stood out that you want to go over? Or do you just want to like general review?
General review.
Okay.
Audio medic.
Just like in training.
All right. So what would you describe as your objective when you play Zarya?
5, 4, 3, 2.
Like, what is your like? Looking at your comp, what do you?
Uh.
How do you intend to play like the first like 30 seconds?
Ryan Zarya. Hopefully, try to bubble the Ryan as much as they can.
Okay. Do you know when you should bubble the Rhine?
Usually when they go into the fight.
All right.
Well, I think, I don't know.
That seems reasonable. Let's see how we do on that.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective
A quick question: are you in voice with this Rhine? Are you like?
No, this is
random?
this
Okay.
is just a random
Okay.
ranked match.
Get in there.
All right. What do you think about that bubble?
Defend objective
Terrible.
Get in there.
Why do you think that?
No, actually no. Well, yeah, kind of bad. Because his shield was still up, I guess. And like he was basically already absorbing most of the fire with his shield.
So you said that you want to bubble when he's going in. Going in right now?
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
That's pretty good, right? This is fine. If you want to be really nitpicky, you sort of want to wait until he starts swinging, right?
Yeah.
And then like if he's chilling, right? And then like if the Rhine starts swinging on him, then you bubble him and your Rhine can swing back.
Yeah.
That, right. But this is fine, right? You're getting like timing wise is maybe like a half a second early. Other than that, like you're chilling.
Fire
That's
on
not you.
you.
Okay.
Go.
All right. That's chilling. Think about your bubble.
Oh, can you go back a little bit?
Oh my god. How long is this bud? 20 minutes. Okay, I need to remember that. Actually, you know what? Hang on. There we go. 5-second skips.
Get in there.
Alright, how do you feel about your bubble?
I was a bit back. Maybe it wasn't necessary at the moment.
Okay, so okay. So we went over what you'd want to do with your ally bubble, which is like when your teammate is doing something to go in, you bubble him, right?
Yeah.
So how would you define how you use your own bubble?
Maybe defensively to get out.
Yeah. So yeah.
So I didn't use it defensively at that moment.
Well, in this case, so there are a couple important things to consider with your own bubble, right? So number one, it gets you charged. That's really important.
Yeah.
So
Charge, yeah.
in this case, the enemy team is backing up, right? So are you really worried about not having bubble right now?
Not too much because my team's with me.
Yeah, not really, right? So it's okay to use your bubble for charge, right? If you know that you're not going to need it, right?
Yeah.
This bubble is like a lot riskier to use for charge, so you need to communicate with this one, right? So if your Ryan's like taking damage right here, you can bubble him only if you're like talking with him and you know he's not going to run into the choke without bubble, right?
Yeah.
But in a team setting, it's absolutely okay to ask your Ryan to take damage here, right here. That way, like you can bubble him, get some charge, and then he chills here, and then pushes with your next bubble, right? And then you go into the fight with an 80 energy.
Yeah.
But this bubble's totally fine for building charge, right? So another really really important consideration for the bubble, right? Your personal bubble. Slowly going. Yeah. Another really important consideration for your bubble, right? Is Zarya, a lot of times you're supposed to split up from your Ryan, right? So if your Ryan is going in, like he's generally what happens a lot, right? Is their Ryan sitting on here, right? Your Ryan sitting here, right? So where should you be relative to that? They both are on like their own corner of hotel.
Maybe on the right area.
Yeah, so you want to split up. You want to be like either here or like pushing hotel, right? What's more
Yeah.
common is like the defensive Zarya doesn't have a great position over here, right? You don't really want to be here as Zarya, right? So the defensive Zarya will like push hotel, and the offensive Zarya will be chilling over here spamming, right?
Yeah.
So this happens a lot. So in this situation, right, it's really good to have your personal bubble, like you said, to have defensively, right? So what happens? You're going to sit here as long as you can, right? And eventually, someone's going to run at you, right? When they run
Yeah.
at you, then you put bobble, you like kite them, and as they finally get to you, right, the Rhine or something, or like if they're just shooting at you, right, generically as you back up, right, then you pop bubble, right.
Yeah.
So a big mistake a lot of Zaryas do is they'll kind of like walk into the enemy Rhine to force bubble value, right. And what you want to do is you want to make the Rhine, you want to position in such a place that you make the Rhine chase you, right, and when he finally gets to you, then you bubble, and he is
Yeah.
so sad, right. Yeah, so this bubble's fine because you know that's going to happen, right? But we'll talk more about like the other bubble. Keep doing that. The last guy was on F6, so I keep pressing instead of F7. Alright, so this is like you were 1 second on bubble.
Yep.
Good bubble. Unfortunate. Alright, now it's really important that you keep your charge, right? So if this Rhine's here,
Yeah.
you can back away from him because like again, you want to make it so he has to chase you all the way to Narnia, and when he finally gets you, you pop bubble. You don't want to be close to him.
Okay. Yeah.
And just remember that like your beam range is a lot longer than you think it is. You see the Zarya's beam?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which means that you can easily be like right at like you can be like back on this garbage can and still be shooting the Rhine realistically, right? But like you're very
Best
close, right?
shot.
And if he had shatter or something, or if he just like wanted to run you down with like a Lucio, if he has a Lucio or something, or like the McCree just jumped around the corner with flashbang, you could actually just die, right? Keep doing that. Okay. So, yeah, and again, right? Don't retreat in the open, right? Not again. I don't know why I keep doing that when I was talking about this in the last review, but don't play in the open, right? So if you're gonna run away, run this way. Whereas in order to chase you, they
Go
have to
around.
extend into the choke, right?
Yeah.
So right here,
Okay.
they shoot you, and they don't have to walk past the choke, right? But in order, if you go that way to shoot you, they have to walk through the choke, right? That. Oh my god. Alright. This is good though. You got full charge, right? You're alive. You got some spam. So okay, so really micro thing, right? This is pretty minor, but on this, on again, think about how your tank wants to push. Generally speaking, your Ryan's gonna walk this way, right? This is where he wants to go.
Yeah.
So he's gonna go
Remain.
this way, and he's gonna walk around the choke, right? So what's a really natural way for you to get a slight off angle on that?
Going right.
Yeah, you just walk on the right side of the bus, and then you get your spam. You just chill here, right? And when your Ryan gets to this part of the choke, you're on a natural off angle. You bubble him when he walks through, right? And then you like as the enemy team backs up, you walk through the choke and start splitting up again, right?
Yeah.
That's a really natural rotation. But you see right here, they're all looking this way, and they're all shooting you, and they have nothing else to look at, right?
Yeah.
Ryan's forced a shield. He's taking damage. He almost dies, right? And you can see how different it is if you're just right here. The Zarya, you physically can't do this, right?
Yeah.
Or if she does, you can punish her and do a lot of damage, right? And meanwhile, like, team just takes less damage because they're not all shooting down one line, right? And like, I just want to emphasize that these small things like can actually have a really big impact. The Zarya, you can't like really split too far from your team, right? Because you have no mobility, right? Your protection is just the bubble. So if someone gets on top of you, you can't bubble a teammate on top of you, right? And your own bubble breaks, like you're done, right? So you can't split too far. So a lot of times it's like these small splits, right? You're like you know your Ryan wants to go this way, so you go this way, right? And you end up in the same place but with an off angle, right?
Don't look back.
Right? Imagine if you're here, this Ryan can't drop shield, right?
Yeah.
Then you can go this way, and it's even harder for him to drop shields because he can't hide here anymore. It's harder for him to hide here. Just keep doing that, right? You just make it harder and harder for that Ryan to play the game until eventually, like, he does something stupid. But you see that, right? Do you see what this echo did? Your Ryan can't drop shield. See that?
You're taking
You
an
can be
off
that
angle.
echo, but over here, right?
Yeah.
Bubble. Unfortunately. And do you see how extending the choke when people are holding weird angles? Like I think they still had a guy over here. Oh, I have the 5-second replay. Okay. So yeah, they had a guy over here, not really the threatening guy, but they're set up around like on a concave, right? So when you push in and to look at the side of the concave, you can't look at the other parts, right?
Right.
So like this is why you want to create off angles. So instead of walking in like this, right? Unless you're really determined to give your personal bubble to the Rhine, right? like to help him out with bubble. What you want to do is you want to walk out like this, right? See that?
Outwards.
Yeah, you want to walk outwards. You want to split from him, and that way you can either shoot the Mercy and just kill her, right? Or, right, you can apply pressure. Like you can, like if there's anyone over here, you can kick them out, right? So if the Echo's hanging out over here, you can just shoot the Echo, force her out, right? And now you have control of this right side, right? And now suddenly it's very hard for the enemy team to extend into here because you're just getting shot on the side the whole time.
Yeah.
So again, just like you want to just drift from your Rhine all the time. It's kind of like there was almost a really good bubble, but then like the Echo just focused in and popped. Alright. Just gonna show you. So see how Soldier like sees this way?
Mhm.
This is like what you need to do with Zarya as well.
Right.
I will never surrender.
Bubbles are kind of questionable, but you know, fight over.
Yeah.
Adaptive circuits engage on you.
Too
Go.
early or too late, or just right.
Too early
Why is it too early?
because he wasn't really being shot by anyone.
Yeah, the Rhine hasn't started. This guy hasn't started swinging yet, right?
Mhm.
So we're just chilling. In fact, in some cases, against Echo Rhines, you might want to hold the bubble until you're sure, like until like Echo either leaves the copy, or until like you think they're about to shatter, right? They build shatter really fast, right? Having the bubble to protect your Rhine so you can keep swinging on is actually pretty big. Shatter. Yeah, you need to keep going. So I know people complain all the time that people aren't walking cart, but cart really sucks, especially for Zarya. Because you want energy, and you can't get energy in cart. The cart doesn't shoot you; the enemy team shoots you. So you want to find the enemy team. Also, you want high ground, right? So generally speaking, what you're going to do is you're going to either, depending where you think the fight will happen. So if the enemy team fully regrouped, right, and they were all sitting here, you would just like probably chill like right here, right, or like over here, right? Something just generally near them, right, but not so close you can get run down. Just play around where your Rhine is within. So if the enemy team was like regrouping, but like let's say they were like here, like they had 6 people here. One thing you can do is stuff if there are 6 here already, right? There's 6 people here. Your team has still on cart right here. Where do you think the fight will happen roughly? Give me a ballpark.
In the middle.
Yeah, so like somewhere around here. So a really good spot to be is like walk up here, right? And now you're in a really good angle, right?
Yeah.
And how do you kick a Zarya off this? Like, good lord. And then if you expect the fight to happen like here, right? Really sensible high ground. It's just like going around through here, up the stairs, right? Blah blah blah. They hang out here, depending on if the fight actually ends up happening around here, right? Or you can go over here, right? Then you can like chill up here. There's a bunch of stuff you can do. Just like try and interpret where the fight will happen and take an advanced high ground position relative to that, right? But don't go to cart. Cart sucks. Oh.
Unfortunately.
Okay, change your mind. Nice. See this Echo that's doing damage that could be your energy. Right, so you see how you feel pressured to go for a bubble charge, a charge bubble, right? Because your energy's starting to dip, but because you weren't here, you have no vision, so you don't actually know what's going on. So you just bubble and it doesn't do anything. And then the fight's about to start, and you have no bubble, right?
No bubble, right?
Yeah, which is like ultimate disaster territory. You get 0 charge off it, and now the Rhines are swinging. You encourage this Rhine to go in with your bubble, and he has the bubble. If you want, if you have fast reactions, by the way, you grab that because grab can cancel charge. So if he pins your Rhine and you need to save your Rhine, you can cancel it.
Okay.
That's more an advanced thing that you don't really worry about that much. Alright, so we talked about how do you get value on your own bubble, right?
Bring it.
Yeah.
See how like you bubble just like for like a fire
Just
strike,
the bubble.
Yeah, you bubbled kind of just the bubble, right? And then the Rhine got to you, right? You walked into him and you didn't have bubble, right? So remember, you want to make the Rhine chase you, right? So you just shoot him and you just play this range until he finally starts walking you, and as he starts walking you start walking back, right? And you just kind of, because like he's not faster than you, right? You just go, you just do the dance, right? Until eventually, right, he gets to you finally, and then you pop bubble, and he's so sad, right? but you walk into him to shoot the Mercy, right? And it's really important to Zarya that you prioritize your own life over everything. You are the most important person on the team. No one else is more important. Because every time you die, you lose all the time you spent building charge, right? And that's really valuable.
Yeah, all the charge.
So like right here, you walk back in, you're 3 seconds of bubble, and you just die in this time, right?
Yeah.
You just gotta keep running away from the Rhine until he finally gets you. Bubble, dies. Or he backs up and holds shield, and then you start walking forward. That's the dance.
I am not a good
It's the odds are your Rhine coordinate, like courtship individual or whatever. Alright, so that was a bubble for charge, right? But you need in a team environment, you need to be very clear that was a bubble for charge, right? Because your Rhine cannot be walking forward without it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's happening. Alright, your team seems to be winning. Lots of Qs.
good news, everyone.
My ultimate is charged.
Allow me to remain.
Alright, what do you think you should set up? What do you think the fight's gonna happen?
Maybe farther down.
Where?
Basically, like right here is fine, I think.
Yeah, so you think the fight's gonna happen roughly in this area, right? Give or take a bit. So where should you set up around that?
Maybe on the high ground.
I mean, that's a pretty safe answer, right? When in doubt, just say high ground, right? Alright, so yeah, so you can just set up here, right? Take this spot so you don't get spammed out early, right? And then if you need to, right, either drop and rejoin your team depending on what's going on, or you can drop this way if it's safer, right? Which is actually pretty often, because what happens is here, and it's very hard crossing this space, right? So just play up here, and then you drop as needed. You can't be lazy, right? You can't just sit here. You gotta go up to the high ground, either through this way, like with the soldier, or go through their spot, their side if it's safe, right? And take the high ground this way, right? You can't get lazy.
My tactical visor is charging.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Give me your best shot.
So how was our prediction on where the fight started?
Fine.
How so?
It was here. Well, the fight started here.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a bad question. So the fight happened like here. This is where your Rhine died, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty reasonable. Well, kind of, because like this is like a choke, right? So you really shouldn't be like pushing this past this far, right? So if your Rhine is going to play here, though, where should you be relative to that?
Next near him.
Where?
Maybe on the left, possibly.
Yeah, you can hang out over here. There's a Mega, right? You apply
Oh,
all
right,
pressure. And if you're here, you can oftentimes be healed by your healer still. Depends on the system. Your healer's you can also play above still, right? Get value, right? But the big thing is like you can't be back here, right? Because here, if you play back here and your Rhine's over here, your Rhine's dead, right? You gotta apply pressure somehow, right? You see that? And also, do you see how this echo kills your soldier? I don't know if you're paying attention.
Oh no, I didn't see actually. It was
All right. Guess where the echo goes in from? Take your
above.
bets.
Through the top left.
The top left. I wonder what happened. There was a big Zarya standing right here.
Right.
Oh no.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
So again, like you gotta control high grounds, right? And if your Rhine's going up here, at least control the off angle, right? At least sit here, you know. And if you need to, then you start backing up and upping your personal bubble to run. It's like once your Rhine's dead and they're popping ults, right? Like this fight's like unwinnable, right?
Yeah.
My will is unbroken.
Your Rhine's kind of dumb, but you also like
Get in
did
there.
support him the right way. Like you weren't with him, right, in any meaningful capacity, and then also you bubbled him to encourage him to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. If your Rhine's posted forward and you think he's suicidal, right? You want to wait to bubble him until he's like running away, you know? Don't encourage him
Right.
to go in. You know? There's some player psychology there. Nice.
Shot.
Oh my god. See that? The soldier's like DC 90 the whole time, right?
Right.
Okay, so watch the soldier. He just doesn't move, and the Reaper two shots him.
Double kill. Finished. Get in there, my ultimate
That's
ability.
bubble for charge. That's fine. All right. So where should you be relative to your Rhine?
Off angle, maybe right.
Where right?
Inside the building.
Yeah, you can just hang out here, throw right clicks, right? And if you feel safe, if you feel confident, like your Rhine's starting to walk forward, then you can start walking forward as well, right? You have the Mega behind you, so you have that as like backup, right? Um,
Yeah.
and so on. So if your Rhine keeps pushing forward and you ends up walking to about here, where should you go after that? Because this is not really an off angle anymore.
Maybe left.
Really simple path is like just go over here, you grenade jump over up, right? Now you're on another off angle, right? Now you're controlling the high ground space next to them, right? And you have the possibility at high charge of just flanking and going to kill their backline, right?
Mhm.
Really simple rotations, they work like almost every time. Alright, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate that bubble?
Maybe a very low 2.
Yeah, that's about
You
right.
got
Yeah.
nothing out of it.
Yeah, you got a little bit of charge, right? And that's not really what you're looking for with that bubble, right? Because you need that bubble to hold space. So imagine if you were just chilling here, right? Shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. And even if you run out of charge, right? You're just shooting and shooting. And finally the Rhine's had enough and he just like pins into you, right? And you start backing up, he's chasing you and you just bubble, you cut him out and eventually he dies, right? That bubble, even if it didn't get you charged, just straight up won the fight, right?
Yeah.
And it's really important that you just recognize that like bubbles help you hold space, right? So you bubble your teammates to enable them to take space, and you use your own bubble to like save your own space. You feel? So like if you're chilling here, right, you save that bubble until they're actually running into this room and trying to fight you, right? Then you take some damage, right? Grab this mega, if they're still fighting you, you pop your bubble, right? Then you bubble anyone who runs into the room to help you fight, right? But yeah, you gotta use bubbles to hold space. That bubble's fine. A little bit. It's slightly too early, but that's mostly because you didn't realize the Rhino was about to die. You couldn't see him, right? So again, it's a little bit easier to make decisions if you can see what's going on, right? On an off angle.
Yeah.
Also, that was. Remember when where your previous bubble was on yourself? That was the one for like 12 charge. It's really funny. Every bubble you waste just kills you, right?
Yeah.
Bubble's fine for charge. Careful walking forward with this bubble, right? And you just want to chill with your Rhine, and then bubble to like take some pressure off him and also get your charge. So that was about right. Maybe slightly too forward, but like adds like micro details on that one. Alright, so good or bad bubble?
Bad.
Why bad?
Because he wasn't like all the way inside the fight.
Yeah, so he's rotating.
Kind of chilling over here in the back.
Yeah, so this is like an okay bubble, right? So you could kind of sort of have to read your Rhine. If your Rhine's bad, that's a bad bubble. Because your Rhine's going to get that bubble and he's going to pin in, right?
Yeah.
But because he's just rotating and he's hiding here, you can reasonably expect there not to be a fight in the next 8 seconds, right? So bubbling there is reasonably high chance of getting charged. It helps him rotate without burning a shield, right? Then if like the enemy team rushes him, like you're over here and you can like pincer, right? So it's okay, right? It's not bad. It's not good. It's not bad, right? It's like it's all right.
Yeah.
So if your Rhine, like you understand that your Rhine's not going to go in, right? That's an okay bubble. If your Rhine's about to go in, that's a terrible bubble because you just encourage them to go in, right? You sort of need the bubble to like bail him out. Okay, yeah. Otherwise, you're chilling. No. Alright. Scale 1 to 10.
Give it like a half, like a 5. Cause I thought he was gonna go in.
Yeah.
But also like I kind of wasted it a bit early.
Yeah. So it was early, but I understand what you're thinking, right? So like you just sort of misinterpreted his actions, right? You sort of just want to wait until your Rhine's literally on top of this Rhine before you bubble the time, right? Especially when you're up one and he's not likely to die on his way in, right? They're down at DPS. So like how much damage can you realistically take walking from here to here, right? Not that much, right? This bubble's too early. And you see how as he gets there, it pops, right? As he finally gets the Rhine, it pops. Sad, right? And then you're gonna grab and he can't swing on it because he doesn't have bubble, right? So imagine if you just waited just like a titch longer, right?
Tiny bit.
And then you grabbed, and then you bubbled him, and you got to swing on it, and then everybody would die, right? They wouldn't even be able to heal, because his bubble would be blocking the heal, right?
I'm going
So much
for
better.
the storm.
They went for the shatter. Your Ryan, like realistically, couldn't do anything on that grab. That's why I didn't kill anyone. And then, do you see how you guys lost this fight?
McCree flashed me.
What's in?
Went around, took the off angle.
Where is the McCree? Wait, I went forward somehow. Wait, how did I go forward? Yeah, so it's because the off angle, right? So you're over focusing on main, right? You're not splitting up from your Ryan, right? Because naturally you should be splitting in this direction, right? And the McCree's going to show up. He's going to flank. He makes his play, right? And you're not here body blocking him, right? Imagine if you're here with a
Right.
bubble and the McCree shows his face, right? And you just look at him and he's like, "Oh no." Like, just win these fights. This is why like people complain about tanks like doing too much damage, because realistically, at the ranges tanks are strong at, they just like straight up overpower DPS in close range fights, right? Like this McCree shows up, and then like he looks at you, and then tries to flash you, and you bubble and you kill him, right? Just straight up, right?
Yeah.
And then you go back to your business. You just keep dumping right clicks over here. Then you can grab and bubble, right? You do a bunch of stuff, right? That's not you. You just lost control of the flank, right? And now like your team is the whole way out of this scenario, right? You can't even do it.
Your best shot.
Yeah.
Travis kill.
Alright, he eventually wins, but it costs you a lot. That's a good bubble. Instant 40 charge. The bubble's okay. Again, like, you see how you're continuously like, just ramming your face in and then bubbling? Just like, look at the Reaper and you're like, boom! I want more of that Reaper. You just shoved your face in and then like you bubbled, right? Again, just like slight off angles. Like, get on top of the cart and look down, right? Like, go over here, grenade jump over the wall, right? And off angle, right? Make people come fight you because your position is so strong. And when they fight you, then you bubble, right? That's your main goal. I keep doing that.
It's
Okay.
on you.
Good bubble, bad bubble. What do you think?
I guess kind of like the middle again, because I did it mostly to protect them, but we got really no value out of it too much.
Yeah. So you gotta like understand like if he's about to die, right? That's the big thing. So
Uh-huh.
you looked at him, right? And he looked like he was in threat, right? Like you look at him. Keep going too far back, right? He looks like he's up front, right?
Mhm.
Right. So what kind of range damage does the enemy have?
Range?
Who can shoot him,
McCree.
realistically?
Yeah, like McCree and Reaper's basically kind of close.
Yeah. I mean the Reaper is like shooting him, but like at this range with a Lucio hitbox and a Moria orb, like he's not taking damage.
Yeah,
Right?
like what's gonna hit him?
Yeah. So all you have to do is bubble if he gets headshot, right, by the McCree.
Mhm.
Other than that, if he dies, that's on him. So like if he keeps going in or something, then you bubble, right? But like if he just unless he gets like headshot right in front of you as you're looking at him, then you don't then otherwise other than that you don't need to bubble him, right? Because what's going to happen, right, is their Ryan's coming back, right? And realistically, do you think a fight will happen in the next 8 seconds?
Probably not. Oh yes,
I mean, the short answer is they use Cole, so yes, right?
Yeah. They're gonna push.
Yeah, they're gonna push, and then you're not gonna have bubble, right? Right, here they are, right? And your Ryan dies because you don't have bubble, right?
Mhm.
You gotta have that trigger discipline on your bubble. It's so important.
Yeah.
Get self in your bubble, that's too late, right? And you gotta start backing up beforehand again. You gotta preserve your life. If your Ryan dies, you're out of there, right? You
Okay.
only stay in if like the enemy team is also like equally dead, right? So your team's half dead, but their team's half dead, and then you're the strongest character alive, right?
Get into position.
So I'm actually out of time.
That's
so
fine.
yeah. So I'll summarize real quick. Big things for you. You got to be a bit more disciplined with your projected bubbles. Every Zarya does, to be honest. So like, don't beat yourself up about it. Just like just note every time it happens. Right? Be like, oh, I bubbled there and nothing happened, and then suddenly we died, right? Or like,
Yeah.
I bubbled myself, nothing happened, I died, right? And then you also need to really think about off angles, right? Just even small stuff, like really small stuff. So like, if your Ryan's pushing this corner, right? He's like walking around the corner, right? Just make sure that you go wide, right? You're playing far back from the corner and you go wide, right? And if there's someone over here, that's your responsibility. So if there's someone on this side, your Ryan like holds this corner down, right? You bubble him, right? And you turn around, and you fight this guy off, whoever it is, right?
Mhm.
And then you go back to your business, right? then you can hide here, or if like your bubble's running out, your team's running out of pressure, right? Then you can back up with your Rhine and just start resetting, right? And then on the next bubble cycle, you just walk out again, right?
Mhm.
And like even if you're not taking high ground, at least take off angles, right? Don't let the McCree do this kind of stuff, right? Like your home, right? Not his home.
Yeah.
Chill behind these boxes. No one can ever push you ever, right? Um, and you can also scout this side really easily. So if like a Reaper teleports up here, you'll see it, call it out, and bombs at it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So off angles, a bit of bubble discipline. Um, not too much to talk about with your grabs. I didn't grab that much, I think. Um, but save cooldowns for your grab. So if you're gonna grab, try and save your bubble for it so people can follow up on it better. Yeah. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Mm, no, that
Okay,
made sense. All made sense.
awesome. I hope that's helpful. Let me know how it goes and like if you anything else comes up that you have questions about, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, no problem.